Good evening. This is Tom Duvall, Chair of the Service Committee. With me tonight are members Sherry Tyson, Zach Brooks, our secretary. Our clerk, Melissa, is also with us. We are making up time tonight, so therefore, have you looked at the meeting minutes?
Yes.
And
Yes,
do you have comments?
looked good to me.
Therefore,
Motion for approval.
I'll second that.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. To new business, we have two ordinances. Melissa, would you read the first one?
An ordinance levying assessments for outstanding delinquent water and or sewer bills on specific utilities account.
With us this evening is Jim Stanley, our service director. Would you want to illuminate us on them?
Yeah, this is the annual or semi-annual ordinance to assess properties that have had water bills that have not been paid for an excessive amount of time, and it's time to put them on the taxes. So this ordinance does that.
Thank you. Don't sit down.
Okay.
I hear a motion.
I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How do we have three of these that are almost 3,000, almost 5,000, 6,000 and some dollars? I thought the water was shut off if it weren't.
Well, we're still at a point where we're reading a couple of months behind, and we're going to work to fix that this next year. So utilities operation manager will be up to talk about that more, but all the excessive amounts are people we try to contact once we find out there is a leak. And basically they're either vacant, or we don't get any response from the property owners, and they will continue to try to contact them to the point where there's no response, and then they finally have to shut the water off. So some of those are major leaks that start out small and then all of a sudden become a large leak, which is like the $4,000 leak you see on there. Is there a $6,000 leak on there?
Yeah, 6,500.
Both of those were homes that were vacant at one time. Property owners are no longer in those homes.
So all of that water was gushing out and that happened within, a month's time?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think you shut it off twice, did you not?
yes. One of the properties had it turned back on illegally
Ah,
and still had the leak. So once we realized that, we had to go back out and shut it off again. So there's not many of those, fortunately. Usually people are fairly responsive if they hear they have a leak. And with the new metering system, we can detect them quicker, but there's some, if they don't respond to it, then we have to shut it off after a certain point.
certainly, because it's not the city's intention to be charging
No.
anybody thousands of dollars. Most of these are just 100,
Yeah,
200.
when they find those, they're much smaller than that to begin
Yes.
with, but then they escalate quickly if you don't do anything about it.
Okay, thank you.
Now I'll hear a motion.
Make a motion that we forward this to council on October 1st with a recommendation for passage.
Second that.
Melissa?
Duval,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Would you read the second one, Melissa?
An ordinance levying assessments for fines due to violations of the vacant building enforcement program on certain city lots.
Mr. Stanley?
I'm going to turn that over to our city planner, who has more to do with that than I do, so.
Even better.
Anna?
Well, this is something that Tyler Cobb, our new zoning inspector, has been working on. So short notice that this was going to be up tonight, but you guys heard this last year. This is probably going to become an annual type of assessment, as well as last year was the first year that I had kind of started enforcing our vacant building program. So Tyler's picked that up for me, and you'll see the addresses that are either new or they're still vacant from last year. So just assessing the fees. Our vacant building ordinance says if the property owner doesn't register their building as vacant and pay the associated fee, then we can charge them $50 per day they're in violation at a cap of $1,000 plus the fee that they would have had to pay to register. So that's why you'll see some $1,200 and some $1,400 fees for the $1,000 plus their $200 or $400 registration fee.
Thank you. I would comment that I am very, very pleased that we put this in place last year. the city of Circleville looks much better, and thank you for your efforts.
Thank you.
But
Yeah,
Comments?
it's a goal, yeah, it's a goal is to not have vacant properties because that doesn't do anything for anybody. We don't want, vandalism or critters getting in vacant properties. We want to encourage property owners to either rent their buildings or renovate them or do something with them, at least post a sign, that they're doing,
Mhm.
trying to rent them. So that's a good thing. And I'm glad to see there are only 8 on this list. Does this cover residential and commercial properties?
Yes, the ordinance does, and that should be reflected in the assessed properties.
Excellent.
now a motion.
I'll make a motion to pass this on to council on October 1st with recommendation for passage.
Do I hear a second?
I will second it.
Melissa?
Duval,
Yes.
Tice.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Moving to old or other business. Do we have any?
None that I know of.
I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I will second that.
Aye.
Aye.
At 6:37.